Breakfast with Pablo.
We're talking AFL and the big one tomorrow, the AFL Grand Final, Sydney versus Hawthorn. I got on the line Scott Cummings, former AFL superstar. Good morning, Scotty.
Pablo, how are you, mate?
Very good. Thanks for joining us on the line. You're one of the Pilbara favourites, to be honest.
Well, I love the Pilbara. Quality people up that way.
There is. They breed them strong up here. And I tell you what, when you came up on your tour, we had a round in great success, and everyone just loved meeting all you blokes and Hutchie, and you did a great show at the TAV. And
did some of our finest work at the TAV that weekend. That was one of the best boys trips I've had in some time. So it was very good to get up there again, mate, and a bit of sunshine and meet some really quality people. So we're enjoying it. We'll be back again next year, and we'll if I can just convince Hutchie I can get up there as much as we can, mate, we'll have a good time.
Definitely. Now, I guess we'll touch on the grand final just in a sec, but first to the Brownlow. Were you a bit of a surprise that Watson got it in the end?
No, not really. I think he was always a chance with Scotty Thompson, and I thought Swanee was a big show, and Sam Mitchell. So I think it sort of panned out the way most expected. Trent Cotchin was obviously around the mark as well. So
I thought Ablett was going to set the record for most votes at the start.
Well, didn't he get off to an absolute flyer? But but then this is the problem when you try and pick the Brownlow. Like, you're asking people to think like umpires, and I can't do that. I like to think like a human. I like to think like a normal person. So it's a hard thing, but I don't think anyone begrudged Joe winning that. He was he had a very good year, and the first half was good for us, and the last half was putrid. And but he kept his standards really, really high. And isn't he just a great bloke, old Joby? He's a chip off the old block, and it was just good listening to him. Very humble, just a ripping young bloke. So well done to him.
Yeah, and he paid tribute to his dad and all the great coaches and everything. James Hird as well. So it was great to see him get the win. Now, someone that didn't get the win last weekend. You're still heavily involved with Collingwood.
Well, you're going to ruin my morning.
The boys, they held their head high though. They had an amazing season. Swanee's probably one of my favourite players in the comp. He had a cracker, and Cracker had a cracker as well. But against Sydney, I guess maybe it was just too much. They didn't have enough rest, do you think? Or
they were clearly flat, weren't they? You just got the feeling that the events of the past 2 weeks had really caught up with them, and obviously their preparation was far from ideal. But there was no way in the world that they were going to miss the funeral or put a game of footy in front of the funeral of their mate and old teammate John McCarthy. And so they were on the bus for a couple of hours down to Sorrento, down on the Mornington Peninsula here in Melbourne, and then obviously most of these guys will be their first funeral. They're all young blokes, and it's certainly the first time they've had to farewell a really close mate. And when you're actually there and you see the coffin and you see the parents and the family and the people that are left to pick up the pieces, it just draining as they can be. So
definitely,
then back on the bus for a couple of more hours, and then on a plane, and then on another bus, and and then they stayed in the city too, which I thought was strange. If you drive out to Homebush, it's out in the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't, you couldn't pay me enough to live out that way. But in Sydney traffic, so that wasn't good. But it was another hour and a half on the bus on the way to the game. So but anyway, look, they were flat in Sydney. Can't take anything away from them. We just ride them off, but every year, and they just keep delivering. And I seriously reckon tomorrow they're a very big chance.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I guess it's the day before the grand final. Going into today and tonight, what would your prep be? Kind of if you're playing tomorrow?
Well, my prep would be and what it should be. Two very, very different things there, Pablo. Mine would not have been professional, but the Hawthorn boys, it's a really different week for them, obviously. I mean, they've got the Brownlow where they sat there and watched everyone else have a drink. They've had a lot of functions and training and attention this week, and then they've got the grand final parade today as well, which is very, very different, and a little ceremony at the top of Spring Street here. So it's not. I'll be getting home as quickly as I could. I'll be putting the feet up and be loading into the pasta as much as you can, and and not watch anything else. Just watch some movies, just relax and chill, and just take your mind off it, because it'd be very easy to be swept away in this week. And obviously watch the boys at Collingwood in 2002 and 2003, and then again obviously the last 2 years, and it's just a monster of a week. It's the best time. It really is just a great time to be here in Melbourne, and I'll be resting up because it's going to be one slog tomorrow.
Well, I was going to say, what are your thoughts? I mean, Sydney Hawks, it's going to be great. I guess, both teams are really riding high at the moment. I guess Hawthorn came over a bit of adversity that match. It was tougher than they probably would have liked.
Well, they made it tough, but maybe they're just tiring a little bit. I mean, they're still a $1.50 favourite.
Yeah.
And I think Sydney about $2.70, which wasn't juicy if you ask me. Well, Hawthorn deserve the favouritism without a shadow of a doubt. Maybe last week they were just, it took them a while to get rolling, and they found themselves up against a side that's better than I thought they were. But this might surprise you, but tomorrow they're forecasting a cold day here in Melbourne.
Yeah,
this
it's
might
unusual,
surprise
isn't it?
a lot of you. It's 14 degrees here tomorrow. It hasn't been that in Karratha for about 18 years. It'll be 14 and rain and possible hail and thunder and the whole kit and caboodle. So that has to suit Sydney for mine.
Yeah,
and,
it's going to make the ball a bit slippery out there.
Yeah, and it sort of takes Buddy's influence probably away a little bit. Takes Roughhead's influence, hail as well.
Yeah.
The big mummy, Big Shane Mumford, he just loves hitting bodies, and so rain, hail, or shine, he doesn't care. But I just reckon Sydney in close are really, really good solid bodies on them, and I just reckon it evens it up a bit.
No, it should be an absolute cracker of a match, and I guess you got a lot more to talk about the AFL Big Final tomorrow. You're doing Off the Bench tonight with Hutchie from 6 o'clock here on The Spirit.
Yeah, we'll have a chat. Hutchie and I will get together again, and I'll try and make sense of what he speaks, what he says, and I'll try and translate it for everyone, basically. He's starting to fatigue, Hutchie. He's getting on a bit. He doesn't look after himself well enough at all, and the season becomes long for him. So you want to hear a frazzled, mentally tired man, tune in tonight, and you'll hear Hutchie at his finest.
Scotty, it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure having you on the line this morning, and enjoy the festivities for tomorrow.
Good on you, Pablo. You just keep running the show up there in God's country, mate. We'll see you soon.
Breakfast with Pablo.